So let me welcome you to our lesson. This lesson is about the digestive system. And in this lesson, we shall look at the different parts which make up the digestive system and the function of each part. Like in the school, the headmaster, the teacher, the children, all these have their own functions. So what is the system in the digestive system? Some people at times use the word alimentary canal. Is the alimentary canal the same as the digestive system? We shall find that out later. However, know that the digestive system and the alimentary canal are not exactly the same, although they are related. The long tube from the mouth up to the anus is the alimentary canal. However, in the process of digestion, we need other structures like the salivary glands, like the liver, like the pancreas. These are not part of the alimentary canal, but since they take part in digestion, they are part of the digestive system. I hope this is clear to you. You now realize that the digestive system is bigger than the alimentary canal because it consists of the alimentary canal and all other organs that take part in digestion. The alimentary canal starts with the mouth, that one. And the mouth consists of the teeth, it consists of the tongue, and there are some glands which produce saliva. You know saliva? Every time you are eating, you find the mouth becomes wet. That's when somebody is preparing nice food out there. You smell it, you begin to produce some liquid inside. That is saliva. So the three main parts within the mouth which take part in digestion are: number one, the teeth; number two, the salivary glands; and number three, the tongue. What is the function of the teeth? This is a banana, and when I eat this banana, it must go into my body. But when you see this, the size is big. This size cannot be absorbed into the body. So the first thing, when I bite it, in the mouth, the banana is first crushed by the teeth. And you will realize that there are different types of teeth. Each type performs a particular function. Like when I was biting, I used the front teeth, the incisors. And when I am chewing the banana, it goes down to the molars and the premolars. What is the function? To break down the banana into small particles. Meaning, that is one factor for digestion in the mouth. So, the teeth help to break down the food into small particles. But remember, the particles are still not small enough to be absorbed. The second agent of digestion in the mouth are the salivary glands. The salivary glands produce a chemical that breaks down the food. Now, from the mouth, the food goes into the stomach through a tube. But for this food to be pushed down, we need an organ. The organ is the tongue. The role of the tongue, two. One, it helps to move the food so that it can easily be chewed by the teeth. The second one, when the food is ready, the tongue picks it and takes it back. And therefore, you're able to swallow the food. So the tongue, two functions. Function number one, to move the food so that it can be chewed properly. Function two is to push the food back. But now, for it to push the food back, it rolls the food into a certain mass. That mass of food is called the bolus. Now, the bolus is pushed down into a tube which connects the mouth to the stomach. And this tube is called the esophagus. Simple word for it, it is called the gullet. So whether you call it a gullet or esophagus, it's the same thing. But for the food to go into the stomach, it is a gatekeeper. This gatekeeper of the stomach is called the cardiac sphincter. Why do we call it a sphincter? It is a ring of muscles. You will realize there are two of them. One takes the food into the stomach, and one takes the food out of the stomach. They are all called sphincter muscles. But the first one is called the cardiac sphincter, and the lower one is called the pyloric sphincter. Now, once food enters into the stomach, what happens? The stomach has two main functions. Function one is to store the food for some time. It is a sac which stores food. Function two, it also helps in breaking down food. How does it break down food? You'll realize at times after eating, you feel there's some movements inside the stomach. That is okay. Those movements help to break the food into small particles. So one way in which the stomach breaks food is by the movement of its walls. The second way in which the stomach breaks food is that it produces another fluid, another juice. Like the saliva is produced in the mouth, there is also another juice produced in the stomach. It is called the gastric juice. The gastric juice also helps to break down food into small particles. Two functions of the stomach. Number one, to store food. Number two, to break down food into small particles. How it does that? Again, two ways. Way number one is by the movement of the walls. Way number two is by the action of the gastric juice. As I told you earlier, once the food is ready in the stomach, it is taken to the small intestine through a small sphincter muscle called the pyloric sphincter. In our lesson today, we learned about the first few parts of the digestive system. We learned about the mouth, and we saw it clearly that in the mouth, there are three main parts. Part one, the teeth. Part two, the tongue. And part three, the salivary glands, which produce saliva. And we said from the mouth, the food goes into the stomach through the esophagus. And what happens in the stomach? Two things. One, the food is stored for some time. Number two, the food is also broken down. With that, we come to the end of this particular lesson.